Hey, everybody. My name is Colin Wilcox with Extraordinary Concepts, and this is Forked Up. Why is it forked up? Well, have you ever been tased as a restaurant owner? So I have. You want me to tell you that story, my war story? I will. I'll tell you that. Say hi over here to Goldfinger. Everybody knows Goldfinger. He's a quiet one, but he's a good companion, and he really helps me out when I'm doing these podcasts, especially alone. Because if an empty seat would be just kind of weird, wouldn't it? That'd be kind of forked up. Okay, so where do we start? How did I get tased as a restaurant owner or manager? So it all started with me needing a manager. All right, so I don't know if anybody, obviously, if you're restaurant people watching this, yeah, you've probably been in this situation as a customer. You just may not know anything about this situation, but it's always very challenging to get a good manager to work with you. It's very hard. And then even when you do find a good candidate, it usually takes about a year to really make sure that that manager is like on point, doing all the things that you need, and it just blending with the team well. So I was really kind of like really looking, really hoping, and I always look for managers. So one day, the angels answered my prayer. They came in. I'm like, I talked to this candidate. I'll call him Chris, and he came in, and I'm like, man, this guy just really interviews well. I just have a really good vibe about this kid. It really feels like this could be the guy. And very rarely do you have that feeling, but this one, we just clicked. He was answering all the questions I asked him, and and going above and beyond. So he could bartend, be on the bar. He could do all the things. He was younger, so he had that young energy, and he was looking forward to working. So I hire him. Can't wait to bring him in. So now I bring him in, and he does a training shift with me, and then I have customers looking at him, and everything's going good, and they start to like him, and then this is probably his second shift or something like that, and then I'm like, I have a regular customer says, "Hey, Colin, come here." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up? What's up?" He's like, "Hey, you manager, you new manager?" I'm like, I'd keep an eye on him. I'd watch him." Because like, well, why? What's the matter with him?" I'm like, I mean, you should go up in the booth there in your computer and Google him, Google image him. So I'm like, okay, I mean, how bad could this be? Like, what's going on? So I go in the booth, and then I go, get on the Google images, and I type in his name, and boom, pops up. And I'm like, oh man, are you kidding me? I'm like, it's just a mug shot, I'm like, there he is, right there, mug shot, arrested. I'm like, and I'm looking at him like he's like Oklahoma. Like, I'm like, oh man, Oklahoma. And it's like, well, I mean, I've dealt with ex-cons before. They're actually really good employees, but this obviously was setting off some red flags, I would say. So now what? Okay, so now I got somebody with a mug shot in his and I got to just sort of play it off. I'm like, okay. I mean, when you're really desperate for managers, sometimes you're just like, oh man, can I really make this guy work? Can I make it work out, or do I have to just go back and be short and all that kind of stuff because we work so much, 90 hours a week. So anyway, so I call my cop friends because I have a lot of cop friends in town. I call them up and say, "Hey, Paul, I'm like, I got this guy. I hired him. He has a mug shot. Blah blah blah. Can you just kind of do me a favor and give me a background check on him? See how he checks out. See if I should really be that worried, or was it just like a misdemeanor thing that he did?" No, he's like, "Okay." So I don't know. A couple of hours later or something like that, he's like, yeah, Colin, I just got some bad news." I'm like, and now this guy is still training. He's still in here. Just about to finish his shift and leave, but. And then actually he did finish his shift and leave. So he was gone, but he calls me. He says, "Colin, yes." I'm like, "Well, what's going on?" I'm like, "This guy, he's got warrants for his arrest in Massachusetts and in Oklahoma." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's a wanted guy." I'm like, "Man, oh man, that really sucks because I was really hoping I had a good manager here." I'm like, "Okay, so now what? What do we do now, Paul?" He's like, "Well, I tell you what, you just give me his address and we'll pick him up in the morning, and then that's it. We'll be all done with it. We'll go to his house, we'll pick him up, everything will be good." I'm like, okay. So now in my brain, I'm like, I'm just going to leave this. I'm just going to leave it. I just got to get another manager. He's all done, and I got to move on. It's sad that I had to lose a manager, but also good that I mean I didn't have him in the space where he could actually harm my customers or harm me or harm anybody else. So he said, "Okay, let me know when you pick him up," and so on. He says, and then he My cop buddy, texts me and says, "Colin, he wasn't there. We weren't able to pick him up." I said, "Oh man." I'm like, "So, but he's coming in at 10 this morning. He'll be here at 10 a.m. to do a training shift. Like, so what do you want to do?" He's like, "Okay, well, not a big deal. Uh, before 10, I'll have a cop on the street, and then I'll have we'll try to grab him before he gets into your restaurant, and everything should be fine, and then we'll do that." I'm like, okay, as long as it's just like he's not in the restaurant and I'm not have to worry about what do I have to deal with and all that stuff. It's your thing. You deal with it. I don't want to be dealing with ex-cons in this fashion. So okay. So now I got to sort of patrol the door. I got to patrol, make sure that this. I don't want this kid in the space. I don't want him in this restaurant. So now it's almost 10 o'clock, and he's really on time. He's like, I was wondering, like, wow, this is a really good manager. He's always on time. I really like this guy. Again, I was heartbroken when I heard this. When as an owner, you realize if like you have a good candidate and you don't have a good candidate anymore, you can really be heartbroken. So anyway, um, so I'm watching. It's 10 o'clock, and I'm like, okay. I'm like texting Paul, the cop. I'm like, he's not here. I'm not seeing him. I think he might be on to something and know that you guys might be after him. He might have just skedaddled. And so it's like 10 past 10, and I'm like, okay, still nothing, Paul. Let's just call it quits. I don't think he's going to come in. Typically comes in the front door, and I was going to could greet him and say, hey, blah blah blah. And then I see him like coming up the street. I'm like, oh man, Paul, he's here. He's here. I'm trying to text the cop. I'm like, here he is. He's here. God, I mean, somebody grab this guy or I've got to deal with it, or I got to kind of figure out how the hell am I going to, rectify this whole problem, because he's wanted and I want to make sure he gets grabbed. So anyway, so he's going down the alley. So he's going in the alley to get to the doors, which is weird. And then he's also late. So I think he knows there's something up. So I'm like, I got to make sure that the staff's safe. I got to go greet this guy. I got to go take care of this thing. So I meet it at the alley door and I open the door and I walk out. I said, hey, Chris, let's, potty training. I just want to go and introduce you to the people. I got to go to the bank. I want to introduce you to the people at the bank. And then, and then we'll go from there. We'll continue the training. So, here he is, he's sure. I'm like, how's your day? How's things going? And I'm like, well, I'm like small talking with him and sort of just, trying to figure out like, looking around like, okay, I'm going to get this guy onto the street. You guys come with cop cars and just like pull in, woo, like, oh, like, something on a SWAT team, grab them and everything's good. So I'm just walking and I'm like, I don't see anybody around here. And then I look across the street and it's a female cop. Nothing against female cops, but I thought there might have been others. I don't know if this guy's carrying a gun. I don't know if this guy, is like a murderer. I don't know what's going on. But okay, so I see her across the street, and she just kind of walking, and I'm like, kind of like, hey, yeah, this is the guy. This guy. I didn't want him to see my hand gestures, but yep, this is him. This is the guy. Let's grab him. Come on, guys, come get him. And still nothing. So now I'm just still short talking. I'm like, man, I'm walking down the street. I'm like, I'm going to actually have to take this guy into the bank. We're going to bring him in the bank. And I'm going to introduce him to somebody that I don't have any idea who they are. And then, I'm just trying to play this role, trying to keep him away from the restaurant and kind of get this thing going. So, all right. So I keep walking and then I go across the street and then I'm at the front of the bank, excuse me. There's more to the story. So anyway, I'm at the front, right in the front of the bank. And I'm like, oh, hey, Laura, how are you? What's going on? I'm like, oh, hey, Colin, what's going on? I'm like, so now we're having an interaction. He's there, she's there. And I kind of feel a little nervous energy from him, and then she says, oh, you look familiar. I'm like, and she's like, you do? I'm like, and then I'm just joking around. I'm like, oh, boy, Chris. Like, I'm like, I hope you didn't do anything bad, just kind of joking around, playing light with it. And, I think I might even said that would look really bad on an application, Anyway, so, because I didn't want him to know I was ratting him out, I just wanted to just kind of joke around and play light with it. And then she's like, yeah, well, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to take you in because you have a warrant for your arrest. And then this kid just like panicking. So now he's just about to bolt, and I'm like, I did all this work. Why am I gonna just sit here and let him run away? So I grab him by the back of the jacket as he's starting to run, and I'm just pulled him into me, and I just bear hugged him and whipped him to the ground. And I said, "You're not going anywhere, man." And so now I'm on the ground with this guy wrestling, and we're just kind of scuffling around. And now the cop, she's got her taser gun out, and she's trying to find a way to shoot. And she's just like looking at it, and she finally shoots the taser gun and just gets him like whatever in the back of the leg, and then the wires cross my legs, and I'm just like, "Wow, what the hell's happening?" And then he's getting zapped. I didn't get zapped too bad, but I felt the jolt. And so now I'm just wrestling them, and finally, other cops finally come and pull in and just start to like, okay, hey guys, where you been? I'm like being like superhero over here, wrestling this guy to the ground, and then and getting tased, and now you guys finally show up. So we get the guy all cuffed and all that kind of stuff, and his jacket's a mess, and he's got this big T-bone shirt on him. I'm like, oh hey, I'm like, please, guys, because I just want to have a good reputation. I mean, I don't want to go into the police department with a T-bone shirt on. I'm like, oh, what's T-Bone's up to now? I said, could you just do me a favor and make sure you either turn the shirt out inside out or have him not have a shirt? But I don't want mug shots with T-Bone's shirt on there. So that's my taste story. Everything went fine after that. Went back to the restaurant, and everybody was like, "Ooh," basically looking out the windows, watching this all go down. And so, again, that's forked up. So please have compassion for the restaurant industry people. We want to do from the bottom of our hearts. We want to make sure that you have an amazing experience. So if your fries are cold, we're sorry from the bottom of our hearts that your fries are cold. But sometimes we're in the middle of getting tased. So that's one of my restaurant war stories. And I hope you guys can leave comments below. I'd love to hear your war stories. Subscribe, like, do all that stuff. Share with your friends. I mean, this could be entertaining. I'm going to have other restaurants for sure. We're going to talk about their war stories. But right now, I'm just with my buddy right over here, Goldfinger. And that's what I got for you today. So have a great day. I'll see you guys later.